Hey guys, it's me, Franny, and I wanted to do a video on the WWE had two pay-per-views, NXT TakeOver yesterday and the Royal Rumble tonight. Just finished watching that. So, I am feeling a little bit sick, but I wanted to do a video because I've been, talking it and, on my Facebook page, I've been talking to some of my wrestling fans, and I love you guys. You guys are so passionate about wrestling. You always give me different ideas, and you always give me, I just love how we have different conversations, differences of opinion, and things like that. So I just kind of wanted to put this video up to just continue the conversation going on and things like that, okay? So here we go. The card for the NXT TakeOver show, I really like the show. I always kind of think, I'm going to be honest, I always kind of think whenever they do an NXT show, pay-per-view, and then they have a WWE live event the next day, on pay-per-view the next day on WWE Network, I don't always think it's the best idea, because sometimes I think the NXT shows are a little bit better. I am going to say I do feel that the NXT show was better than the Royal Rumble in some ways, and I'm going to explain why. There were, I believe, 5 matches on the NXT card. I watched the whole thing. I like the fact that the show is not as long as the pay-per-view. The WWE pay-per-view, I'll go into that in a minute, but the NXT TakeOver show, there's so much talent in WWE right now with NXT, on Raw, on SmackDown. We had the tag team titles change from DIY versus the Authors of Pain. I think it was a good match. You had 2 different types of teams, 2 different types of ring styles, and I really like the fact that they had that, and I like the fact that they were kind of trying to do, how they won the titles before, I just thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good, strong match. I do notice kind of like a trend that they do, and my husband was saying this too when we were watching it, that when it comes to the tag titles in NXT, that they kind of have them change hands quite frequently, more so than the main titles, the female title and the male title, you know what I'm saying? The female match was a Fatal 4-Way match. It was Asuka, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay. I thought the match was pretty good. I thought that, Asuka retaining the championship, I just love that. I think Asuka is such a powerhouse. She's awesome. I think that it would be great if she retains it until, for a year. I'm thinking, no rumors have been said. I try not to read spoilers and things like that, because I feel sometimes it just ruins the show for me. I kind of like to watch it as I see it and not be having all this information in my mind. If this is supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking that because Ember Moon is undefeated in NXT, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and Asuka is undefeated in NXT. I personally think that when they decide to bring up Asuka has just been killing it. I think that it would be great if she retains a championship for a year or over a year. I think the next NXT TakeOver show is going to be the day before WrestleMania. So if she holds it until the next TakeOver show and either loses it to Ember Moon or, holds it longer than that, I think that would be cool. So she won it from Bayley originally. So, and she's just been defeating everybody and retaining her championship, and it's just been really great to see her, and she's just a fighting champion. I think she's incredible. So, nothing has been said when it comes to her title matches for her next opponent, but I think personally it's going to wind up being Ember Moon versus Asuka at some point, and maybe Asuka, when they decide to have her move up to the main roster, she's going to, I personally think she's going to wind up losing the title to Ember Moon, and then Ember Moon they're going to have a division, that she's going to be basically the face of NXT for that time. Going on to the main event, I thought that main event, Nakamura and Bobby Roode, I love the entrances, I love the both entrances of both athletes were great. I also love the fact that the match was unpredictable at times, and then you had Nakamura, he had an injury on his knee. I didn't know if it was a work, and I didn't know, because I was honestly expecting, I'm going to be honest, my prediction for the Rumble was that Nakamura was going to lose the title to Bobby Roode, and then he was going to go into, be an entrant into the Rumble, and then he was going to win the Rumble, and then face AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I was like, oh, imagine if that happens, and my husband was like, yeah, but they don't usually book stuff like that at, they don't usually book stuff like, he's like, don't get me wrong, it would be great to see that, but, they don't usually book stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I know. So, you had Samoa Joe in the audience. Samoa Joe did not get involved. And what I liked about this match, about the NXT pay-per-view, nobody really got involved in the matches. And it was pretty much, it was just really great matches. And, Bobby Roode is the new champion. Authors of Pain is are the new tag team champions, and Asuka is still the women's champion. Strong pay-per-view, really good pay-per-view, a lot of talent. So Nakamura looks like he has an injury on his knee. That's why, I don't know if he was scheduled to be brought up, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know what's going on with Samoa Joe, but we shall see what happens. Austin Aries, I know, is injured, is recovering from an injury as well. Now we're going to go into the Rumble. The Rumble started, I believe, the kickoff at 5:30. Now, it ended a little bit, I think, at like 10:30, something like that. That's a lot of time to watch. Some people, like for me, I'm kind of like, even though I'm a huge wrestling fan, sometimes you have other things to do. So I think it's like a little taste test of what it's going to be for WrestleMania. Because if you watch pay-per-views on the WWE Network, like I do every single month, you notice that it's usually like 7 o'clock is like the kickoff, and that's, talking about the match. But it was 5:30 was the kickoff, so they had some matches, they were talking about the matches and everything like that. We actually have new tag team champions for Raw. I'm kind of surprised about this, but I'm actually excited. The club, are the new tag team champions. Nothing against Cesaro and Sheamus. I think that they were a good team. But it's like about time. About time that the club are actually the tag team champions for Raw. I think that it's really going to change the dynamic of the tag team division. There's so much talent in the tag team division right now, and I think that it's a good thing. Especially now we're on the road to WrestleMania, so hopefully they can keep those tag team titles until WrestleMania, and then maybe they're building up for something really good in the tag team division for WrestleMania. So we had the women's match. Charlotte is still your women's champion. The match was good, but I'm going to be honest, I think the match with Asuka was a little bit better. Just my preference, just my personal opinion. When I see better, I just mean like, just kind of like surprises of like what I thought happened, what I didn't expect to happen. I think the match between Bayley and Charlotte, it was just kind of like, I kind of knew what was going to happen. The last spot where Charlotte actually won, was really good. You see that aggressiveness in Charlotte. You see how she just goes for it. And her character has really developed, over time and everything like that, and it's just really great to see, So, I'm sorry. So that's really great to see. I do think that they're working towards something big for WrestleMania for the women's division. Nothing has been, I've heard some rumors and things like that, but I think since last year, they had a triple threat match where it was Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. I'm thinking it's either going to be a fatal 4-way or maybe, I think it's going to be the 4 horsewomen, where it's Becky Lynch versus Sasha versus Charlotte. I don't know if they're going to do that. Versus Bayley. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if it's going to be, a ladder match. I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't announced anything as of yet. It will be interesting to see what might happen with the women's division. Kevin Owens is still the Universal Champion. I think that was a smart move. He faced Roman Reigns. I didn't want Roman Reigns to become champion for the Universal title. Jericho did not defend his championship because he was in the Rumble. Dean Ambrose did not defend his Intercontinental Championship because he was in the Rumble. So you did have champions that didn't defend their championships because the championship titles because they were in the Rumble match. Okay, John Cena versus AJ Styles. Okay, I'm going to get right into it. Was not happy the way that happened. AJ Styles did lose his championship title. Okay, I'm not happy with the fact that AJ Styles lost. I'll be completely honest. But AJ Styles has had a great first year in WWE. Now, some people might say, oh, what's the big deal? Well, he lost. Now, here's the reason why I'm not happy that he lost. He's the same age as John Cena. John Cena has already been a 15-time champion in WWE. Yes, AJ Styles is still a one-time champion in WWE. Nobody can ever take that away from him. You know, he has been at great pay-per-views, but I think it kind of was, I'm going to be honest with you, it's kind of like you feel like he stole his WrestleMania moment away from him a little bit. So it's kind of like, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, he was so close to being at WrestleMania, and now he's not going to be at WrestleMania. So, or, you know, there is that chance that he might win the title back because there is a rematch clause. And there's also a Elimination Chamber match that's going to be happening in 2 weeks, and it's a SmackDown pay-per-view. And John Cena is going to be facing a few guys from SmackDown. So it'd be really cool if AJ Styles wins it back, and then you see AJ Styles versus the winner of the Rumble. Okay, the Rumble had some unpredictable moments. As you know, it's 30 participants that are male, usually coming into it. You had only really one surprising debut, which was Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10. I was surprised that I was happy and excited because I thought he had a really good match versus Eric Young on NXT TakeOver, and he did not win, but I thought it was a strong match. The crowd was completely behind him the whole time, from his entrance and, you know, stage presence. He's really good. I really think that he's got a real good, you know, great future. In short, Randy Orton did win the Rumble. The reason why I'm totally okay with this, I think he really deserves that shot. I always had this idea, I've told this to my husband, that, you know, why did they just give the, it seems as though they just gave the title, you know, tying the record to John Cena. They should have had more of like a race for the record with Randy Orton versus John Cena, because, you know, Randy Orton's like a 12-time champion, and John Cena at the time was a 15. Now he's a 16 because he won against AJ Styles. I said, well, I always felt that they should have had a race for that. They still can, because John Cena hasn't broken Ric Flair's record. He's tied his record. So that would be interesting to see. I feel it would bring a level of excitement into the fold, with Randy Orton being that he's going to WrestleMania and is going to face whoever is champion, okay? It could be AJ Styles, it could be somebody else, because John Cena can lose the title, because John Cena does take a lot of time off. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, even though Randy Orton did win, and I am very happy with that, there were some moments and there were some things that I didn't like about the actual Rumble match. You had, these are the things I did like. You had a lot of great people in there. You know, the eliminations that I did like were, you know, Braun Strowman got eliminated by Baron Corbin. You had Jericho lasted a good amount of time. Goldberg got eliminated Brock Lesnar. Undertaker eliminated Goldberg. And then number 30 comes out, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a surprise person. This is going to be somebody, they saved the best for last. It's got to be somebody really exciting. And it was Roman Reigns. I honestly thought, oh, maybe it's going to be AJ Styles because he's going to win it, and then he's going to go on to WrestleMania. No. I was like, okay, maybe it's going to be Finn Balor. He might not win it, but he's going to be in the mix. No. Maybe it's going to be Samoa Joe because, you know, he was there at NXT, but he wasn't in his... No. So I was very disappointed. I was like, what? And then he eliminated Undertaker. I was like, what? But then when Randy Orton won, I was like, okay, that's so much better. You know, so I just wanted to see what you guys thought. You know, who did you think would have won? Are you happy with the fact that Randy Orton won the Rumble? I'm very happy with the fact that he won the Rumble. I think that it's about time. And some people are saying, oh, Randy Orton versus John Cena again. It doesn't necessarily mean that don't think that, okay, yes, I understand. I used to think that way too. Oh, it's a Royal Rumble. He's definitely going to be champion at the WrestleMania. Not necessarily. He may not be. So, Randy Orton versus John Cena might happen, or Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, or someone else. You never know. Let me know what you think about both pay-per-views in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. And good night, guys. Bye.